The Oklahoma recruiting trail is blowing up. People are going crazy all over Twitter and the YouTubes. After Oklahoma gets a big win against Bedlam, puts on a statement on the recruiting trail, and we kind of got to talk about it, break it down, and I'm going to give you guys what I think and where I think some of these players are going to end up landing. But before we do that, please go ahead, hit the like and the subscribe button. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below. Where do you guys think some of these players are going to land? Do they flip? Or do they stay at the places that they are currently committed to? And hey, if you listen to this podcast or you listen to any podcasts on Apple, Google, or Spotify, go find me, The PG Show, all one word. Give me 5 stars. Leave me a review. Tell me what you like or don't like about the show. Or, hey, drop a segment in there and we might just talk about it. So Oklahoma had one of the biggest recruiting weekends, at least in recent memory for me, in terms of who was there on the field and the product that they were able to put out on the field. They hosted a numerous amount of 5 stars, and we're going to start with the 2023 cycle. So the most notable being David Hicks and Peyton Bowen. And I know there's a lot of questions around, hey, are these people going to land? You're hearing people say that David Hicks is still Texas A&M, which that's not a lie. Right now, he is currently still committed to Texas A&M. That is what's on his Twitter. That is what is still showing in terms of what we have heard from David Hicks. He is still committed to Texas A&M, and until then, you have reason to believe that's where he's going. Now, I will tell you from people that I talk to, and then obviously what we're hearing from Drum and Thune and all these other recruiting guys, OU has made a lot of ground in the recruitment of Hicks. And we kind of knew this going into his first commitment. He really liked Oklahoma. He really liked what Todd Bates had to offer. And after this most recent visit to Oklahoma, listen, a lot of questions were answered. A lot of questions were answered that they had around the recruiting trail for both of them. So Oklahoma fans, y'all just need to chill out just a little bit and let everything kind of fill itself out. We know that he's still got to take a visit to Oregon. And listen, Oregon's going to have a lot to say in this recruitment. We talk about Texas A&M having oil money, but listen, Oregon's got the Phil Knight money. And ultimately, if this is coming down to NIL for David Hicks, I don't think it's going to be a problem for OU. Because OU has that relationship with Hicks. And they have the NIL in place. We're being told the NIL problem is not going to be a problem when it comes to David Hicks. Ultimately, I'm telling you guys, I have a very good source on this, and it's not David Hicks, and it's not Brandon Drummond, it's not Parker Thune. I have a very good source here, and I'm telling you, I believe Hicks is going to commit to the University of Oklahoma. Y'all just need to give it time, let Hicks do his thing. We need to be able to let these kids go out there and take official visits and enjoy this process of recruiting. Let them be wined and dined. Ultimately, these kids know where they want to go, or at least they have an idea of where they want to go. So let the kids enjoy it. It's a process that you and I are never going to get to experience. So let them experience it. Next up, we have Peyton Bowen. And I know this has been an ongoing one for a long, long time. Originally being recruited by Roy Manning and Alex Grinch, now being recruited by Jay Valai and Brandon Hall. Listen, you're hearing that after this weekend with I think he brought his mom with him, after this weekend, seeing what Deshaun White did, what Billy Bowman did on the field, and how he could potentially be used in the safety position or shoot if he ever gets an opportunity to play in the cheetah role, right? He got to see those things in full effect this weekend. And what a better time for OU to put together in both of those positions than the weekend that Peyton Bowen's going to be out here. Mind you, there are a couple factors into this recruitment that really lean Oklahoma's way, but then there's also a couple factors that really lean in the favor of Notre Dame here. The first one being is Peyton Bowen has a good relationship with pretty much everybody that he's being recruited by. So whoever he's being recruited by, you know that they all have a shot in terms of just the relationship portion with those coaches. Additionally, with Peyton Bowen, Jackson Arnold's coming here. One of his best friends, one of his teammates. That's got to speak louder than sometimes the relationship with the coaches. And then his girlfriend's here, playing soccer. Ultimately, we're hearing that Notre Dame has a really good relationship with Peyton Bowen's mom, but if Peyton Bowen's mom is not going to be moving wherever Peyton Bowen is, and quite honestly, those coaches, yes, she can have a great relationship with them, but she's not going to be working with them every day. So the question is, who does Peyton Bowen feel the most comfortable with? Does he want to potentially move into a deeper relationship with his girlfriend? I think that's going to be a big factor here. Yes, I know girlfriends are undefeated, but in my mind, if I'm a recruit, yeah, it's great that my girlfriend's going to this school, but I'm not going to that school with my girlfriend unless I see a long-term future with her. And I think that's probably something that Peyton Bowen's thinking about right now. And so that's why I think we need to ease off the kid, because it's not just a school thing. If he's moving out here for his girlfriend too, there's probably an underlying reason for it. Probably because, hey, he sees a long-term future with her, potentially sees himself marrying her. And so that's a huge life decision that this kid's got to think about. Now, I think Peyton Bowen commits to Oklahoma. I think he's here. You hear a lot of people feeling really good about him. You're already seeing flip predictions put in. That's great and all. I personally don't buy into the whole flip prediction thing just yet, just because, listen, with Peyton Bowen, you'll believe it when you see it. The staff feels really good about him. And listen, Brandon Hall has been on a tear in terms of recruiting, putting the Oklahoma Sooners in great positions to be able to go out there and even get 2024 guys, whether that's KJ Bolden or Charles Lester. Not saying we're going to go out there and get those guys, because those are enormous elite talent at that position. Now, getting Peyton Bowen helps you, I think. I believe it helps you, because it shows those guys that Oklahoma is doing something right and able to land that talent, and starts to get those guys' attention to come take a visit here. But Brandon Hall and Jay Valai, I think they know what they're doing. And I think they're going to be able to get and close out on Peyton Bowen. Again, it's just going to take time. It's going to take Sooner fans to be okay with it. Ultimately, if you get Peyton Bowen, I think you land his brother in 2024, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Then you hear of Kendel Dolby, the 5'11", 180-pound cornerback, JUCO defensive back, and out of Miami, Oklahoma. That's right, I said it. Miami. It's not Miami. Miami's down in Florida. This is Miami, Oklahoma, and I'll fight any of you guys in the chat that want to fight me on that. Listen, he's coming to Oklahoma. Crystal ball's been put in. Brandon Hall's elite. Yeah, I know people think he might go to Oklahoma State or Washington State. It ain't happening. Oklahoma is all in on Kendel Dolby. And listen, we've seen Oklahoma be able to close out on the guys that they're supposed to close out on already, whether that's Ashton Sanders or Taylor Wine. I'm just waiting for Markus Strong to go ahead and commit to us. Markus, if you somehow see this video, come on. I'm ready to see you commit, dude. I'm ready to see you commit. You know you want to be out here and play with some of these elite defensive linemen in Oklahoma. That's right, I said elite, because when Todd Bates and Brent Venables want somebody, regardless whether they're a 5-star or not, usually they can be an elite talent under their schemes and their development. So, looking at the 2023 class calculator, I think this is important. Where do I think OU lands? I think OU probably takes 27 to 30 commits in this class. You're going to have guys like David Hicks, Peyton Bowen. We've talked about those guys. And ultimately, if you get David Hicks, I think you get Daymion Sanford from Texas A&M too, the 4-star linebacker. And then you get Kendel Dolby. Now, Kendel Dolby doesn't necessarily help you in terms of your composite score ranking because he's a JUCO guy. But, hey, talent. That's what you want. David Hicks. Listen, he's a generational talent at the defensive line. You got to be able to land him. If you land him or you land Sanford, you got a chance at landing either one. Steve Wiltfong, he knows something, guys. This man knows what he's talking about, and he still has his crystal ball in for Oklahoma. There are not any crystal balls in for Texas A&M, and I think that's got to speak louder than words. If OU is able to land those guys, plus the 4-star defensive lineman, which we didn't even talk about, Etta, I hope I said that right. Etta, he's currently committed to the Michigan Wolverines. If they're able to go out there and land that guy, OU lands somewhere in the 300 to 305 range. I think you got a couple composite score updates plus 3 more commits. You're probably in that 300 to 305 range, even if you don't land Etta. I currently don't have Akana in here, and here's the reason why. Not feeling confident on Akana. I just don't know why. I just don't got a good gut feeling about it. And personally, guys, this is my rankings. This is who I think is going to commit to Oklahoma. Not who Brandon Drum, Parker Thune, or all those guys are going to commit to Oklahoma. I love those guys, but I'm not talking about what they're talking about. I'm talking about what I think is going to happen. And I just don't think Akana's here right now. And I would love to be wrong on that one, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think that's why you see them going out there and looking at a guy like Etta or other edge rushers like Taylor Wine, because I think, hey, yeah, you lost Colton Vasek, but maybe they're not feeling comfortable in terms of the Akana route either. So that's what I think is going to happen in 2023. Let's move on to 2024, because I think this is where Oklahoma is really going to start having some fun on the recruiting trail. And listen, Oklahoma, I think they made some pretty big steps and moves in terms of the direction of some of these 2024 recruits. So for those of you guys who don't know, I have season tickets. I've had season tickets for a while now, 8 years, somewhere along there. And then I went to all the games for 2 years before I had season tickets. So I think it's been about 10 years I've been going to all the home games. I only missed one in there. It was the Kansas game this year. And, I missed 2 because I missed West Virginia last year. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that. I sit in section 35. Used to sit in section 36. Wanted to move over. I was able to get right underneath the suite, so able to give me a little bit of coverage in case it rains or anything. And, hey, in summer I get a little bit of cool air flowing out of those suites, and in the winter, like, the other day in the Oklahoma State game, I get a little bit of heat rolling out of there. So, and I got the concrete wall behind me. So, in case you guys ever want to know where I sit, that's where I sit. Literally, like, if you see the 35 sign, I sit right against the 35 sign. So you guys can always look for me there. Here's the deal. I am able to look down and see directly on top of the recruits. David Stone. Love this kid. And I'm trying to get him on for an interview. I'm trying. So give me some time, guys. 6'4" defensive lineman out of IMG Academy, originally from Del City. This kid is a monster. And this is a guy that Oklahoma, I feel like, needs to land. And you see Michigan State coming in hot. And I think Michigan State's done a pretty good job. They went and got by Job this year out of Norman. Now, there's more to that recruitment than what's being led. So don't jump on here and be like, oh, well, Todd Bates lost him. Listen, there's more to that recruitment than you know. We're not going to get into that. But David Stone, the 5-star defensive lineman, currently 247, not the composite, 247, has him at number 4, second-rated defensive lineman, but top 5 player in the country. You see Oklahoma land a guy like this. Recruiting's starting to turn around here. And I think all the Todd Bates haters, y'all will have to slow your roll. I think David Stone's a lock. I really do. Now, nothing in the world of recruiting is given, right? I personally think he's a lock, but hey, you never know. This man could decide to go to Michigan State. You never know. Seems like he likes it up there. His freaking profile picture in Michigan State. David, you got to work on that. You got to change that, buddy, because we want you here at Oklahoma. On Saturday night, this man's got a plethora of recruits around him. Now, does that mean that he's coming to Oklahoma and he's recruiting? Well, I hope so, because that man had quite a few people around him, and being the 5-star top 5 talent that he is, and that he will be by the end of the cycle, including in the composite, yes, he is going to be able to bring elite talent around us, and you're going to need a David Stone to be able to step up and be a leader on the defensive side of that ball for the 2024 class, and to be able to go recruit like what I've talked about so much in Derek LeBlanc. Derek LeBlanc has taken that role on the defensive side of the ball as Jackson Arnold's taking the lead role like a Brent Venables. And then you've got Derek LeBlanc taking more of like a coordinator role, but being a leader on the defensive side of the ball to go out there and recruit for the defensive side. And that's what we need to see from David Stone, and that's what I feel like we're getting out of David Stone. You're getting a leader. You're getting somebody that's going to be aggressive and going out there and getting guys to come play with him. And being a top 5 guy, hey, this is what you want. This is what you want to see from Todd Bates. And honestly, I feel like this one is going to be a miss for Oklahoma. It's Oklahoma's to miss. It's Oklahoma's to give up if they don't want him. I feel like they should be able to have him on lock. I got to get a drink of water. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button while I get this drink of water, and then we'll get back into it. All right, did you hit the like and the subscribe button? All right, cool. Listen, you hear a lot about how David Stone really wants to come back to Oklahoma. And if he stays at IMG Academy, I think it's making the recruitment maybe a little bit harder for the Sooners. But if he comes back to Del City, I think this one's locked for Oklahoma. Truly is. You hear of another guy that came in, a guy that I'm hyped for, and a guy that I think everybody should be watching. The 4-star safety out of Forney, Texas. I hope I said that right. Forney? His name's Aaron Flowers. Listen, currently got a college list of Baylor, Indiana, Kansas State, Missouri, Northwestern, Indiana. He's being recruited by Oklahoma, and he's been on a visit. And you want to know what? You're hearing some good things about that visit. You're hearing a lot of good things. You're hearing about how he really enjoyed his time here at Oklahoma. Listen, this is a guy that Oklahoma, even though he's not a 5-star, you look at how he's built, you look at his size, this is a guy that Oklahoma wants. Let me read you through his career stats that I have here. 113 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and 4 interceptions. 2 years I have stats for. This guy is going to continue to climb through the rankings. In 2021, in Texas A5, he was the first team all-district selection at the cornerback as a sophomore. Wrapped up his junior year, about to be going into his senior year. He's only got more time to improve and continue to move through the rankings. And listen, Oklahoma offered him on the 24th of October. He visited here on the 19th. Unofficially now. So he can still take an official later on. Now, he's unofficially visited the Baylor Bears. I'd expect Baylor to be able to play in this one a little bit. But I feel good about Aaron Flowers. I feel good about Oklahoma landing him. Additionally, you've seen the crystal balls flow in for Nigel Smith II. Or I hope it's the second, because it's got a 2 on here. So if I got that wrong, correct me. But Nigel Smith. You've seen the crystal balls flowing for him from Brandon and Parker. Brandon's at a 6. Parker's at a 5. Nigel Smith is that dude. Right now he's a 4-star, ranked number 36 nationally. This dude will be a top 15 player and a 5-star by the end of this cycle. So we can just go ahead and call him a 5-star. He's starting to get some offers. Starting to be picked up a little bit. Penn State, A&M, Auburn, Georgia, Oregon, Alabama. I think this is going to come down to a race between Oklahoma, Alabama, and Texas A&M. Maybe Georgia comes in on this. He's taken 2 unofficial visits to Texas A&M. Listen, Texas A&M is going to end up being a pretty big rival for Oklahoma on the recruiting trail. That's just how it's going to be. We're going to have to accept that and be okay with it. But that's why you guys have to go donate to the Crimson and Cream Collective. Because we have to do our part by just a mere measly $10 a month to be able to support players so that they want to come play here. Because if we're not willing to give our players any money, anything, why would they want to come here when they can go somewhere else, get development, and get paid to play in college? This is how the game is going to be. It's not changing. So listen, accept it, move on. Give $10 a month to the NIL Crimson and Cream. If you can't afford it, then you probably don't need to be going to the games. It's just as simple as that. It's as simple as cutting out a Chick-fil-A meal a month. And listen, I'm committing to it. And I'd like to see you guys commit with me because I would like to see my program be great. And I would like to be able to see the athletes be able to be supported. Listen, the athletes that I interview, at least the ones that are in college, I can't do it for the recruits yet. But for the ones that are at school, in college, I support them. These interviews aren't cheap, guys. $50 to $100 per interview. So that's why you guys see me push them so much. $50 to $100 each time. And I know that's probably not a lot, but it's something. And it's supporting them. And that's why I feel like you guys should be able to do $10. $10 a month. It's easy. So the question is, who's going to be the first guy in this class to commit to the University of Oklahoma in 2024? Because I think Oklahoma is going to have a loaded class in 2024. I just went through it and made through a simple list of guys that I'm like I feel 100% sure about. Well, I can walk through this list a little bit. I'm just going to name some key guys. David Stone, Williams, Nwaneri, I hope I said that right, from League Summit North, 5-star defensive lineman. Nigel Smith, Zina Umeozulu, Xadavien Sims, Michael Hawkins, Casey Poe, Grant Brix, Eli Bowen, just to name a few. I'll put the full list down below. And I got to set a 270.23. And that's without the potential upside of recruits that I think OU needs to be able to go land. Whether that's the 5-star wide receiver Ryan Wingo out of St. Louis, who currently I think is crystal balled to go to Tennessee, but I think Oklahoma really needs to try to get in on that recruitment hot. I think Peyton Pierce. You hear it all the time. Peyton Pierce might be the guy to start the floodgates for the University of Oklahoma in 2024. 4-star linebacker, top 150 player in the country. Out of Lucas, Texas, Lovejoy High School, 6'1", 225 linebacker. This is the guy that I think is going to open the floodgates for the University of Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma probably take another 25-plus recruits in 2024. I think this class ranges anywhere from 300 to 315. I think Oklahoma has got a good start here. I think they're going to have a good class in 2023. They're going to continue to build that momentum going into 2024. You're going to see a guy like Michael Hawkins take a role like Jackson Arnold did. I think OU is going to be okay. That's where I think Oklahoma is on the recruiting trail. Please let me know where you guys agree with me or where you guys don't agree with me. If you guys made it this far, 24 minutes in, please go ahead, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. As a content creator, it really helps me out. It's completely free to you guys. Like I said, I'm having to spend some money on these interviews for you. And I would really like to be able to continue to grow the channel so that I am able to continue to do these interviews. And as players and recruits come in, I can continue to do interviews with them, trying to expand beyond OU football as well, because I know that there's a lot of interesting guys out there across college football that, one, I'd like to talk to, and I know you guys would love to learn more about. So go ahead, hit the like and the subscribe button. Let me know what you like or don't like about the show. Let me know what you guys agree with on this list, what you guys don't agree with. Hey, keep an eye out tomorrow. We got a video with Caden Green, Logan Howland, and Heath Ozida. I know this one's been pushed a little bit. Something you guys will enjoy. Make sure you guys continue to tune in. We'll see you guys next time.